Alright guys, so we got our obligatory Pokemon Presents video here. Since yesterday, as of this recording, was Pokemon Day. So of course they had their annual Pokemon Day presentation. And I debated even covering this at all, since I didn't really have a ton to say about it. But I think this is the first Pokemon related video I've made since Pokemon Day last year, actually. So I figured I'd go ahead and talk about it a little. So we got about a 20-minute long presentation this time, and it was the pretty standard fare as far as one of these goes. Of course, they spent the first several minutes of it going through their 95 different, mobile shit titles and talking about all those and talking about the TCG and some anime projects and stuff like that. And then towards the end, we actually got two sort of important announcements to come out of this. Which the first one was a new game called Pokemon Champions, which they're describing this as a battle-focused game, and they didn't give a ton of details about it, but what this appears to be is it seems to be an official version of Pokemon Showdown, or at least something in that vein. So if you're not familiar with Showdown, what that is it's actually a fan-made game that's basically just a Pokemon battle simulator. And this seems to be, their answer to that. I've seen a lot of people drawing comparisons to, the old Pokemon Stadium games or even Pokemon Battle Revolution as well, which would fill a similar role as, a Pokemon Showdown. So that seems to be the idea of this game. Now, they gave very little hard information about it. They did show the trainer characters for it. They did not, however, give any release date, but they did confirm that it is coming out for both Nintendo Switch and mobile. So you all know how I feel about fucking mobile games. So that immediately is a red flag for me. Although this isn't unprecedented, they have done that before where they've released stuff on both console and mobile. They did that recently on Switch with that one spin-off title where they're all like blocky. What was that called? Pokemon Quest or something like that? I don't know. I didn't play that shit. But yeah, this is coming out for Switch and mobile. They didn't address the monetization for this game. I don't know if it's going to be a free-to-play model or not, or if you had to pay for it up front. I hate free-to-play shit too, so, hopefully they don't go that route. But if you have to pay for it up front, I would assume you'd have to have a NSO subscription to play it on the Switch, at least. I don't know how they would handle that on the mobile end. That is, of course, assuming that this game is multiplayer only, which, again, they didn't confirm. The trailer definitely focused heavily on, the multiplayer aspect, but we have no confirmation one way or another whether there's going to be any single-player content for this, or if there's going to be any, CPU opponents that you can face, a la maybe, a Battle Revolution or such. So we don't know anything about that side of it either. One thing that they did confirm in this is that both Mega Evolution and Terastallizing is actually going to be usable in this game. So two different generational gimmicks are going to be available. No word yet on Z-moves or Dynamaxing. Which they also confirmed that your Pokemon that you have stored in Pokemon Home can be used in this game as well. Which, when I heard about all of that, my initial thought was that, okay, this is going to be like their ill-conceived answer to people like me who are still super pissed about Dexit, where this can be sort of the catch-all game that it's battles only, but it has all the Pokemon in it. It has all the different gimmicks in it. So that means all the different forms and things tied to those gimmicks will be available as well. So the different Mega Evolutions, the Gigantamax forms, things like Ultra Necrozma or Terapagos's forms or whatever. This will be the one place that has everything in it, but, it is just solely a battle-focused game. But it turns out that that's actually not going to be the case, at least at launch, since in the little fine print that they showed at the end of the trailer, they actually did already confirm that this game is not going to have all the Pokemon in it either. Which, again, that is just at launch. So is it possible that, they could do 9,000 updates for this game and eventually get all the Pokemon and gimmicks and everything added into the game? I think that's possible. In fact, I think it's actually pretty likely. I still think that might be their ultimate goal for this game, is to make it the catch-all with everything in it. However, the more I thought about that, the more I actually hated that idea. Because, for one thing, the thought of Pokemon Champions and I guess possibly Pokemon Go being the only games that have all the Pokemon in them is just depressing as all hell. But other than that, the actual reason I didn't like this was that it sort of just gives them an excuse to never move away from the whole Dexit direction. Not that I was expecting them to do that anyway. But, if they have Pokemon Champions as a thing that exists and everything is in it, then that's always going to be their go-to answer for anyone who is complaining about any main series title going forward not having all the Pokemon, not having whatever gimmick, be it Megas or Terastallizing or whatever, gets removed in the next game. The answer will always be, just go play Champions, just go play Champions. Whatever gimmick is in Champions, whatever Pokemon you want is in Champions. But Champions isn't going to be a proper game. It's going to be a battle-focused game, a battle simulator, possibly a multiplayer-only battle simulator. And as one of the people who are super pissed about Dexit, that's not what I want. I don't want all the Pokemon in a battle simulator. I want all the Pokemon in a proper game. If I wanted them strictly in a battle simulator, then, Pokemon Showdown already exists. I can already do that. And that will be free. Which it will be interesting to see if, Nintendo sends their ninjas after Pokemon Showdown now, since they're putting this out as an official product. So we'll have to see where they go with that. But ultimately, I don't really have any interest in this, doubly so if it is, a multiplayer-only experience. So, just nothing about this appealed to me. Being on mobile at all bothers me, even if it isn't plagued by all the issues that goes along with being a mobile game, the free-to-play model, or microtransactions, and, cosmetic bullshit, and limited time events, and just everything I hate about mobile games. Even if that doesn't end up infecting this too bad, I still just have no desire to even deal with this at all. So the other big news coming out of this was a new trailer for Pokemon Legends ZA, which this is actually the first time they've even talked about this game at all since they announced it last year, which is honestly surprising to me. When they said that it was coming out in 2025, they mentioned that last year. I was expecting it to already be out at this point, honestly. I thought it would be another early year release like Pokemon Legends Arceus was. But it actually is not. It is confirmed now for late 2025. They confirmed that in this trailer. But this was the first real look at this game that we have gotten. So we got quite a bit of info about it. They did show the new protagonist characters for this game as well, which they are completely new protagonists and not, glorified reskins like the protagonists in Legends Arceus was. So they do not resemble Callum and Serena from X and Y. However, they did also show the, I guess you'd still call them rival characters for this game, friendly rival, whatever term you want to use. And ironically, those characters are the reskins this time, since they're just basically redone versions of the player characters with like tan skin and different hair colors and different outfits. So that was an interesting choice. It seems like, they would just do the opposite gender player character like they normally do, which you do get the opposite gender character from the one you picked, but, they have the different appearance to go along with it as well. So something slightly different than what they normally do. But beyond that, they did also reveal the starter trio for this game, which this time it's going to be Chikorita, Tepig, and Totodile. Which, again, is sort of a surprising selection since 2 out of those 3 are from the same generation, with both Chikorita and Totodile being Gen 2 Pokemon. So everyone was expecting 3 different Pokemon from 3 different gens, like with Legends Arceus, but this time 2 of the 3 are from the same gen, and then Tepig is just there in the middle, sort of hanging out. So, a somewhat surprising selection for the starters this time. Of course, this has sparked the whole speculation debate of whether or not they're going to get regional variants or if they're going to get Mega Evolutions for their final forms, or possibly both. And personally, I'd still love to see both. I talked about this, when they first revealed this game, that I would like to see, the idea of regional variants be combined with the idea of Mega Evolutions. So if we got like a Calosian for Alligator that could also Mega Evolve, I think that would really be awesome. So we don't know any of that. They didn't show any new Mega Evolutions yet in this trailer. They didn't show any regional variants. They didn't show any new Pokemon at all. So we don't know if there's going to be any of that or any combinations of those. So we'll just have to wait and see about all of that. However, they did confirm the time setting for this game since, from the initial reveal, there was a lot of debate back and forth about whether this game is going to be in the past or in the future. They did confirm that this game does take place after the events of X and Y, an undetermined point of time. After that, it seems to be, maybe in line with actual time. So that would be, maybe 12 years or so after the events of X and Y. And they actually did show AZ in this game, so he is back, and he's actually running a hotel now, which I think is going to be like your base of operations for this game. So it does have a contemporary or, maybe slight near future setting. And they did show that, Lumio City is being advanced now with some new technology and being remodeled to integrate more Pokemon into the city. So they did show a little bit of the gameplay and a little bit about how the city has changed. And they've now interspersed these wild zones throughout the city, which will basically function like the areas in Legends Arceus where you go in and there's a bunch of Pokemon running around and you can do the whole stealth thing and sneak up on them and throw the ball, or you can just run up on them and initiate a battle and, they can attack your trainer and stuff like that, just like in Legends Arceus. However, the one big key difference that they did reveal this time is that once you send out your own Pokemon to battle them, the combat system for this game is going to be different from Legends Arceus, and it's going to be full-on real-time combat in this game. So, unlike the sort of hybrid system that Legends Arceus had, where it was real-time when your trainer was interacting with the wild Pokemon and, doing the dodge roll thing and throwing the Pokeballs and all that. But then once you sent out your Pokemon, it shifted to the more standard turn-based system. This game is not going to do that, and instead when you send out your Pokemon, the battle between your Pokemon and the wild Pokemon is going to be a new real-time system. And they talked about how your Pokemon will move in relation to your trainer, so you can position your Pokemon in different areas, and all the moves are going to have, different amounts of time that they take to execute and different AoEs. So you have to worry about the positioning and the timing of your Pokemon for your moves to actually hit. All of your moves are going to have cooldowns on them too before you can use them again. And they even did show off Mega Evolution in this trailer. And when you Mega Evolve your Pokemon, there's a little meter in the corner that runs out. So basically your Mega is on a timer now. So a very interesting system. When I first saw it, it reminded me a little bit of sort of like the Digimon World games, or even Spectrobes to an extent. So as a concept, I think this actually could work pretty okay for the Legends sub-series. I know Game Freak considers the Legend games to technically be main series and not spin-offs, but, they're sort of their own thing. So if they want to make this the standard going forward for, like, future Legends games, if it's done right, I think that could actually work out pretty well. Potentially better than the hybrid system from Legends Arceus, actually. Now, I would need to see some more of it to really be able to tell. But based on what we've seen, it seems like it could be a fun system. And obviously other games, like I just mentioned, have done similar systems in the past and made it work fine. So I need to see some more of it, but I am open to the idea. Now, I would keep this as just a thing for the Legends series. I wouldn't want to see your standard main series game, completely abandon the turn-based thing and go to this. Which I don't think they're planning on doing. I know that, Pokemon Champions is going to be the turn-based battle system as well, so obviously they're not going to completely abandon that. But I wouldn't want to see them relegate turn-based entirely to Champions and make all the main series titles going forward having this real-time system. But if they want to make that sort of the, defining feature of the Legend series, I think that could work in the long run. But yeah, a few of the things I wanted to mention, just the overall, like, graphics and visuals in general for this game. I know there's a big debate raging about that right now, about, whether it looks bad or not. Honestly, I just can't bring myself to give a shit about it. My initial gut reaction to the trailer made me, not be repulsed as I was looking at Scarlet and Violet, especially with the god-awful, human character designs that those games had. Nothing I saw in this trailer made me react that way, so I call that a win in my book. Is that too low of a bar? Probably, but I can't bring myself to care anymore enough to even bother with it. So beyond that, we also noticed that in this trailer it looked like there's going to be at least a chance now to be able to catch Pokemon after they faint. Now, again, we don't have any details on this, so there might be some sort of limitation on that to where, like, you get one chance at it, and if they break out of the ball, they just disappear or whatever. Or maybe there's a really limited time frame in order to be able to throw the ball to even have the chance, or something. But that does seem to be a new feature that the Legends Arceus game didn't have, since if they fainted, they just disappeared and you couldn't catch them at all. So that does seem to be a change as well. Also, this game does seem to at least have the option for trainer battles this time, which were pretty much non-existent in Legends Arceus outside of, story-related stuff. In that one area in the village that I can't remember the name of. But, as far as, like, trainer battles just wandering around out in the world, those were not a thing at all in Legends Arceus, since trainers were supposed to be rare back then, since it was set so far in the past. But since this game being in a more contemporary time period, obviously Pokemon trainers are a standard thing. So it seems like there are going to be a lot more trainer battles in this game. It seems that there was a little teaser, like, right at the end, mentioning something about a promotional battle or something. Promotion battle, something. So that's probably going to be, like, the main story beats for this game, replacing those boss battles in Legends Arceus against those giant Pokemon that I honestly can't even remember the name of right now. So yeah, there seems to be a lot bigger of a focus on actual trainer battles in this game, so that could potentially make the gameplay a lot less monotonous. They did also confirm that the wild Pokemon encounters aren't going to be strictly limited to those wild zones. There can be wild Pokemon just running around anywhere in Lumio City, I think, pretty much. They just obviously won't be as common outside of the wild zones. So they do seem to be implementing both the trainer battles and the wild battles all throughout the city. So overall, I did think that this trailer was fine, I guess. There wasn't anything about it that, specifically pissed me off or anything. So I guess that's the standard we have now. But yeah, everything they showed looked fine to me. The new combat system was the big reveal, and that is going to be interesting to see how that works out. Ultimately, I still have no intentions of actually picking up this game. I didn't get Legends Arceus. I don't plan on getting this, and nothing about this trailer particularly got me excited about wanting to get this or anything. I'll watch a playthrough of it like I watched a playthrough of Legends Arceus, like I've watched a playthrough of the last however many Pokemon games ever since Dex had happened. So, it's got my curiosity, I guess, but it doesn't have my interest enough to actually fork over any cash for this. And overall, this Pokemon Presents was just kind of underwhelming to me. We got the Champions thing, which, like I said, I have no interest in. We got the Legends ZA trailer, which was predictable. And it had a few little surprises in it and a few neat things, but it didn't really change my overall outlook of the game at all. So I think I said this when they first revealed ZA, and then they didn't talk about it again for a year, but I'll mention it again here. I don't know if I'm going to cover every little whip stitching announcement about this game. I expect we're going to get a more steady stream of info at this point, since we do have a confirmed release date for sometime this year. So we should be getting, more regular trailers now, but I'm probably not going to cover every single one of them as it comes out, unless something really major or really exciting gets announced, which honestly I'm not predicting. If we get some new megas or something revealed, I might talk about it then. But other than that, I most likely am probably just going to be waiting until the actual game comes out, and then I'll probably do a damage report like I've been doing on the last few games. So, yeah, that's probably my plan going forward as far as Pokemon coverage goes. But, yeah. Anyway, I guess that's all I got to say. So, lots of luck to you and yours.